When the game is on the line, every NFL team hopes they have the fingertip catch, the clutch throw, the back-breaking run that secures victory. But sometimes, the game comes down to a kick. Often, we remember the misses more than those who come up clutch in those moments. The botched snap, the wide rights, and of course, the doinks. But for 25 years, the second longest career in NFL history, one man defined consistency. I'm Steven Jackson, and in this episode of Legends, we look at the story of Morten Andersen, the kicker whose left leg carried him into the record books and into the Hall of Fame. Morten Andersen was born in Copenhagen, Denmark. He came to America as a teenager on a foreign exchange program and picked up football almost by accident thanks to his host family. 2 years later, Andersen was on his way to Michigan State on a scholarship. As a Spartan, Morten became a national recognized kicker, setting records and earning All-American honors. He was drafted in the 4th round by the New Orleans Saints in 1982. Morten quickly established himself as one of the league's most reliable kickers. In his first 3 seasons, he missed 1 extra point. And in the mid-1980s, he rattled off a run of 4 straight Pro Bowl seasons. For over a decade in New Orleans, he was the Saints' most consistent weapon, setting franchise records that stood for years. In 1991, in a game against the Bears, he connected on a 60-yard field goal. It was the longest of his career, and at the time, it was the longest successful indoor field goal in NFL history, and second longest overall of all time. After more than a decade with the Saints, Andersen landed with the Falcons entering the 1995 season. One of the league's most consistent kickers, became known as one of the most clutch. In December, a game against the Saints, his former team, Andersen connected 3 times for over 50 yards to push Atlanta to a 19-14 win. Morten's 6-year stint in Atlanta is best remembered for a 38-yard field goal he made in overtime in the 1998 NFC Championship game, sending Atlanta to its first Super Bowl. His leg was powerful, his timing was perfect, and his composure never wavered. In that Super Bowl, Morten opened the score with a 32-yard field goal on the opening drive. But the Broncos' offense was just too much for Atlanta to give him a chance to win the game at the end. Andersen's trademark was reliability. He played in 382 career games, second most in NFL history. He was a 7-time Pro Bowler, a 3-time first-team All-Pro, and was named to both the 1980s and the 1990s All-Decade teams. Teammates trusted him, coaches leaned on him, and fans knew that if Andersen lined up for a kick, the odds were definitely in their favor. Despite starting the 2000 season at the age of 40 years old, Andersen connected on nearly 84% of more than 150 field goals he tried during that decade. He missed just 2 extra points in the 2000s on more than 250 tries. Over that time, Andersen had a stint with the Giants, Chiefs, and Vikings before returning to Atlanta for one final run from 2006 to 2007. At the age of 47, he made 25 of 28 field goals for Atlanta, a career best 89%. He retired with 565 career field goals, 2,544 points, at the time, the most in NFL history. Morten Andersen wasn't just a kicker, he was an institution. He played 25 seasons. He had scored more points than anyone in the history of the game when he retired. And in 2017, he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, only the second pure kicker ever enshrined. He had the power, he had the precision, and he had the career every kicker dreams of. And that's why Morten Andersen is a legend.